Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm doing a Battlewasp deck profile. So this one's been a little while actually since I updated this one. It's a really cool budget built deck. It's a really fun insect deck. If you guys like synchro summoning, you're definitely going to love this deck. And if you guys can tell me down below in the comments which Yu-Gi-Oh series this came from, I will definitely give you guys a heart. So before we get into this guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell next to become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon because we have some really cool rewards for you guys, like getting a signed card, getting your name description of every single video, or even getting to choose a deck profile every single month that you are a patron. So, without further ado, guys, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Arbalest the Rapid Fire. So basically what this card does is, when this card is normal summon, you get to target a level 3 or lower insect monster in your graveyard and special summon that monster in defense position. And if this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can special summon this card. You can special summon 1 Battlewasp monster in your hand or deck, and you can only use this effect once per turn. Then we play 3 copies of Twinbow the Attacker. Twinbow the Attacker, during your main phase, you can special summon this card from your hand, and also you cannot special summon monsters except for insect monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn. You can only use the effect of Twinbow once per turn, and then once per turn, this card can attack a second time during each battle phase. Pretty good for being able to special summon itself, but other than that, Then we play 3 copies of Battlewasp, the Sting the Poison. So Sting the Poison is the one that you want to open up with the majority of the time, because when it's normal summoned or special summoned, you get to add a Battlewasp monster from your deck to your hand, except another copy of itself. And then, quick effect, you contribute 1 other insect monster to target an effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end phase of the turn, and you only use the effect of Battlewasp Sting the Poison once per turn. The really cool effect of being able to do this is the Searcher of the deck being able to normal summon this card to add, like, Pin the Bullseye from your deck to your hand, and it being a tuner monster is really good. Then we play 3 copies of Pin the Bullseye. Pin the Bullseye is a really good 3 of, in my opinion, because basically what this card does is it special summons itself from your hand if you control another insect monster, and then inflicts 200 points of damage to your opponent. But it's really easy to, like, normal summon this card, or special summon this card with, like, a copy of Sting the Poison, and then immediately link summon for Needle Fiber, and then grab something out of the deck that you might need. Then we play a single copy of Dart the Hunter. Dart the Hunter I really like in this deck, because what this card does is, it's just a 1-up to me, but it's a really good card that when a Battlewasp monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, or by an opponent's that was owned by your opponent, you can discard this card to inflict damage equal to the destroyed monster's original attack. Then you can target an insect monster you control, and it's treated as a tuner monster, and also you cannot special summon monster in the extra deck except for insect monsters for the rest of the turn. So it can turn your Arbalest into a tuner monster with, like, Pin the Bullseye, but that takes like 3 cards to do, so it's a little bit of a minus to me. But I play this card basically for that burn damage, is the big reason I play this card. Then we play a single copy of Doomdozer. Doomdozer is a really good, like, monster just to kind of surprise your opponent with, because you just have to banish 2 insects from your graveyard, and then when it inflicts damage to your opponent's life points, you send a random card from the top of your opponent's deck to the grave. And then I play 2 copies of the Worm Warrior as well. The Worm Warrior is really good because it can't be normal summoned. You just banish an insect from your graveyard and then special summon it. And inflicts damage to your opponent. You send the top card of their deck to the graveyard. It's basically like a smaller version and easier to synchro version of Doomdozer, and that's why I play this card at 2 in the deck, because you can just special summon this card, normal summon a copy of Sting the Poison, add a Battlewasp to hand, like a copy of your Pin the Bullseye or Twinbow the Attacker, and then synchro summon from there and go into some big synchro plays. Then I play a Windwitch engine like I was before, which is 3 copies of Glass Bell or Ice Bell, 2 copies of Glass Bell, and a single copy of Snowbell. Now, basically, what these cards do is, if you control, what Ice Bell does is, if you control no monster, you can special summon it from your hand, and then you get to add a, and then you can also only special summon level 5 or higher wind monsters, which is pretty good. But she also has the ability that you kind of combo it with your Glass Bell. That if Glass Bell is normal or special summoned, you get to add a Windwitch monster from your deck to your hand. And then you add a copy of your Snowbell to your hand, which is really cool to be able to special summon if you control 2 wind monsters, which is the really cool effect. I love drawing into Glassbell the first turn, because you can just special summon her, and then you can special summon a Windwitch monster from your deck, which is always going to be Glass. And then Glass special summons your adds to hand your Snow, which is then going to let you synchro summon your Crystal Wing, which is going to be a really good starting play for your deck. Then, for the other cards that I play in here, I play a single copy of Mecha Phantom Beast Oleon. Oleon really helps out because it's a wind monster, and it helps you go into your wind synchro play, or wind link plays. And off of the Crystron Needle Fiber, you can special summon this card, which is really, really helpful. And then we play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. The 3 Ash Blossoms basically just stop our opponent from doing all sorts of shenanigans, which is the reason that we play this card at 3. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. I will mention you guys, if you want to make this deck a little bit more budget, you can actually drop the Windwitch engine out, which is 7 cards, and then replace them with hand traps and stuff like that you might want to play in here instead, or other insect monsters that can special summon themselves from your hand. Then we play 3 copies of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is a really good card in this deck because basically what this card does is it stops hand traps, which is really, really important. Monster Reborn because it is basically a play extender, which is why you play this card at 1. 1 copy of Foolish Burial. The Foolish Burial helps out with the Oleon, sending the Oleon to the graveyard so you can trigger its effect, and it just helps out overall with a lot of the cards. 3 copies of Summoning Swarm. Summoning Swarm is absolutely insane in this deck because what Summoning Swarm does is basically it lets you special summon. It lets you target level 4 or lower Battlewasp monsters in your graveyard up to the number of monsters your opponent controls, and you special summon them, but you can only activate the effect of this card once per turn, and you can't special summon monsters from your extra deck except for insect monsters this turn, which is not that big of a deal because you have plenty of cards that you can summon besides that. Then we play 2 copies of Insect Imitation. Insect Imitation basically lets you tribute one of your insect monsters, and then you can special summon an insect monster that's 1 level higher than that tribute, which is pretty cool from your deck. Which I really like that card. It's kind of like Transmodify, essentially. Then we play 3 copies of Revival Swarm. Revival Swarm is really good. It lets you target 1 Battlewasp in your graveyard and special summon it. And you manage to card from your graveyard to target a Battlewasp monster you control. It cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects this turn, which is really cool until the end of the next turn, which is really good. I really like that effect. But that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the trap. Not the traps, but the trap, because we only play 1. We only play a single copy of Battlewasp Nest. I like this card as a 1-of. I probably wouldn't play it any more than 1, maybe 2. Maybe 2 tops. But when your Battlewasp monster is targeted for an attack, you can special summon a Battlewasp monster from your hand or deck, and if you do, you place a counter on this card, and then during the end of the battle phase, you can only use the effect of this card once per turn, and then if this card has 2 or more counters on it during the end phase, you have to send it to the grave. So I only want to play it at 1 because it's a good 1-of that you draw into, and it just stops your opponent from like swinging over your monsters because you're just going to special summon another one. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So first off, we're going to play 2 copies of Hammon the Conquering Bow. Hammon the Conquering Bow is basically the main boss monster that we're going to be summoning all the time. If it's synchro summon using a synchro monster as a material, it can make a second attack during each battle phase, and then you can only use its effect once per turn. And then once per turn, it also has the ability that when it inflicts damage to your opponent, you can make all monsters you currently control lose 1,000 attack and defense. And at the end of the battle phase, if your opponent has not taking any damage, you can inflict 300 points of damage to your opponent for each Battlewasp in your graveyard, which can help you burn your opponent out a little bit. 3 copies of Halberd the Charge. Halberd the Charge is a really good card. You just play 2 of it. You basically just play 2 of all your Battlewasp monsters, except for Ballista the Armageddon, which Ballista you only play 1 of. But Halberd the Charge has the ability that once per turn, during damage calculation, if this card attacks an opponent's monster with higher attack, quick effect, you can half the attack of the opponent's monster. And then during damage calculation, when this card inflicts damage to your opponent, you can inflict 200 points of damage for each Battlewasp monster you currently control. So basically, this card can attack over anything that's 5,000 or less. Because you just swing into it and it loses half its attack points. So half of 5,000 is 2,500, so it can crash into anything with 5,000 or just beat over anything that's under 5,000, which is pretty cool. Zua the Ghost Bow is a 2-of in my opinion. When this card is, when your opponent takes effect damage from another Battlewasp monster, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to the original attack of that monster. Which is really good. And then it also has the ability that you can only use this effect once per turn. And then once per turn, when a monster is destroyed by battle, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to the amount of Battlewasps monsters, which is really cool. Or when a monster is destroyed by battle with a Battlewasp monster, while you control this card, while this card's in your graveyard, you can special summon it, which is a really good effect to be able to put it back on the field. And it's a tuner as well, which helps us climb into other monsters. 1 copy of Ballista Armageddon. You only need 1. I rarely make this card, but when I do, it's fun. If it's special summon, you can banish all insect monsters in your graveyard and then make all your opponent's monsters lose 500 attack for each, which is really good. If you have like 6, they can lose like up to 3,000 attack, which is really insane. And this card inflicts, if this card attacks a defense position monster, you inflict piercing. And it also has the ability that if this card in its own control is destroyed by a card, then you can special summon up to 3 of your banished insect monsters that are level 11 or lower. That are insects. So you banish these 3 and then special summon them back with a ballista, which is really cool. For the other synchros, we're playing a single copy of Crystal Wing because it's summoned off the Windwitch engine. Same thing with Clear Wing. You can summon it off the Windwitch engine extremely easily. 1 copy of Winterbell. Winterbell is really good in here because it's just for the Windwitch engine that you can use this to climb into your copy of Crystal Wing, which is super, super helpful. Boral Sword to help OTK. Sometimes you don't make it all that often, but it is an option. Crystron Needle Fiber, you make this quite often in the deck as long as you don't lock yourself out of your other monsters with insect monsters effects like your copies of Twinbow the Attacker. 2 copies of Great Fly. This card is a card that I summon all the time in this deck because you can lock yourself into the Wind Insect archetype or the Wind Insect monsters. So with this, increases all their attack by 500, which is really cool. And then 1 copy of the Insector Link monster because this card helps me shuffle stuff back from my graveyard into my deck, and it helps me equip monsters to other monsters, letting them gain 500 attack. So it can be really helpful to equip to like a Hamaton or a Haman the bow, Conquering Bow, or Great Fly for this, so because it increases up to 3,300. But it's overall a really good deck. I highly recommend that you guys give this deck a try. It's really budget for the most part, except for the Windwitch engine, which I'm not sure the last time I looked at it how much it is. It can't be more than like $30 for a Windwitch engine, but the main deck is like 10 to maybe $10 for the entire main deck, besides the Windwitch engine and the hand traps and your copy of Call by the Grave. Everything else, like the core of the deck, is probably less than $10 for the synchros and the main deck. So, anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on the screen, become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon because we have some really cool rewards for you guys. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.